Yeah, I was skin this groundhog, guys. These things are pretty defined on their back end of where that hair thins down. Their belly side's real thin, the back side's not, and it's a real defined line on these groundhogs. I'll just go right there on that back heel, go right down that defined line over to the tail. Hey guys, hey Iowa, and everybody's telling me it makes a good dinner. I've never ate one myself. I don't have time to mess with this one. I was actually going to toss him, and local FFA director contacted me, said he was wanting it for his classroom. So I'm gonna go ahead and get him put up, and get him dried. This is actually the first groundhog I've ever messed with, so I'm gonna give it a try anyway. Yeah, that's what I hear, man. I've got another lady, a customer that has called me. She lives in town, lives right, got a big ditch goes right behind her house in the subdivision. I've trapped. I've been out there about three different times. She's got a big colony hut right there behind the house on the side of the ditch, and I've been out there. I think I've caught five or six out there in the past. She just called me the other day and said she's got some more. So I think whenever I get out there and get that trapped, I'm gonna just plan on putting one of those that I catch up and eat and give it a try. Join the Groundhog Eaters Club, guys. These things I catch them in the summer around my house because they're such a problem. Man, these dudes stink so bad in the summer, man. I couldn't imagine eating one. This I can smell this guy right now. It's not as stout as what they are in the summertime, but I mean, just smelling him, he sure don't seem like he'd be good to eat. But everyone's telling me I think I might give it a try. Someone said it was if I remember right, I have to go back and look at those messages. Someone said you really need to get the fat off of them if you want to eat them. Get that fat off, and I guess that helps. Need to research it a little more, ask some questions for guys that ate them. I'm not seeing the chat, guys. There it is. Keeps disappearing. I'm gonna try to keep up with this thing and do it. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Thomas, I hadn't had anybody say they've ate one and didn't like it yet. I think I'm gonna try. My problem always is, man, I catch all this meat, and I put a lot of the beaver in my freezer, and then we'll ground it up, eat it as hamburger meat. But my wife and daughter are not on board on trying a lot of this stuff. I figure at some point, it may get to the point where they have to eat it, and I guarantee you they will. But by choice, they're not gonna. Guys, I'm gonna have to keep touching my phone to keep the chat up where I can see it. But I try to keep up. If I miss anybody, I apologize. Yeah, I got planned, guys. I'm not gonna eat this one. I just don't have time. Too much stuff going on. I'm not gonna put him up. But eventually, I'm gonna try one before too long. Any of you guys have a market for this? Anybody got market for groundhogs? This is the very first one I've ever put up. We've got a lot of them around my area, and I've caught and killed a whole bunch of them just because they're a nuisance, digging holes everywhere. But I've never put the fur up on one. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this thing, guys. I'm gonna try to put him on my skinning machine. See if we can get him skinned on the skinning machine. The chat keeps disappearing, guys. This is aggravating. Yeah, Ronnie, that's what someone else told me. If I remember right, one of the other guys talking about eating them uh, said it was important to get the fat off of them before you ate them. I bet they would make good bait, Cal. Man, I've got as many beavers as I catch. I've got so much bait. If anything, it goes into a bait pile. I actually had another local trapper uh, reach out to me about wanting some carcasses for his bait pile, and that was right before we got that ice storm. So I didn't have anything. I had everything put up, and I didn't have any at the time. Told him when I got my line back going, I would have some, but I tried to look back through my messages and find it to be able to contact him. But I get so many messages, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with everybody, and it's almost nearly impossible to keep up with everybody to know what's going on. This actually, Thomas. Sorry, guys, the chat keeps disappearing. Thomas, this actually is a meat trapper, or it's a meat trapper handle on a muskrat man. Muskrat man makes these knives. This is one of the skinners. This is a meat trapper handle. Uh, so it actually is a muskrat man meat trapper knife. There's two more since you asked. Since you asked, Thomas, here's two more. Here's Muskrat Man's Skinner that I've got. Really like it. And then this is one of his neck knives that he made for me, and I use this knife on every animal I skin. At some point, I'll pick this knife up and I'll use it. Guys, sorry, the chat keeps disappearing. I can't keep up with it. Thomas, are you part of the chat group, the tribe? Guys, it's gonna be hard to skin this animal and talk on this chat, but I don't have nothing else to do. If you guys willing to stick around and chat, we'll just kind of talk as we go. Guys, if anybody's in the meat trapper chat, go in there and let them know I went live. I never think of it. I never think to tell the group that I'm going to go live. If any of you guys remember, let them know they can join. Kind of kill some time. Tom's, it's so hard, man. After I started my YouTube videos and stuff, it's it's so hard. I was telling my wife the other night, I was like, it's crazy how many people reach out to me, and I don't know, say the guy is his nickname is Scuba Diver, or his screen name is Scuba Diver, and it's actually my neighbor Jeff that lives across the street, but I don't put two and two together because his name's not Jeff, it's Scuba Diver. I know him as Scuba Diver. If that makes any sense, it's kind of one of those weird things I wasn't really anticipating when I started doing these videos and stuff. It's and you get so many people to reach out to you and talk to you. It's hard to keep everybody in line. That's the way I am, Calvin. I've got a bad problem with them here too. Matter of fact, right here behind this wall where the lights mounted, I've got one that come in and built a hole. I don't know, 5 6 years ago. Come in and built a hole going down underneath the foundation. Actually, about where I'm standing at, under the foundation of my shop. And of course, I just threw a 330 in the hole and had him picked up the next couple of days. But it seems like every so often a new one will find that hole, and I'll have to go take care of him. And it's actually been quite a while since I had to take care of one back there. Guys, if I miss any of the chat, anybody makes a comment and I don't see it, just comment again. I apologize. I'll be out here all night long if I try to skin this animal and reach over here to touch the phone so the chat comes up. I don't know why it's doing that. Hillbilly Trapper and Low, Judith and Dan, you just started looking at your message and it went away. Yeah, I've got a bigger problem than that, Judith and Dan. All this rain we've had. Let's see, I built this shop in 2011, and instead of hiring professionals, me and a bunch of buddies put it together. And I've probably got about 15 or 20 screw holes that are dripping water right now, and one of them has started right above my breaker box. Uh, so I've got to get, as soon as this weather dries up, I'm going to have to get up there and and I guess the best thing for me to do is going to be to go around to every hole and put something on every screw up there. I don't really know what else to do. I thought about just getting the whole thing covered, but I don't know if I can afford the cost of that. I tell you, that Flex Seal stuff is expensive. I sure couldn't do the whole thing with it. I don't know if you guys can hear that rain or not, but it's really pouring down right now. Never pull a groundhog, so I'm gonna take it easy. Seemed like they got pretty thick skin. I think they would go into the ground like that, but I'm gonna go kind of easy on it. Make sure it's whole. I actually already started to bust the gut of it. I think their stomachs would be really tough. Fixing to have a mess. The whole stomach on his tearing. Hey, Mark J. Lawson. Guys, again, the chat's disappearing. I'm going to try to keep an eye on it as y'all comment and catch the stuff. Randall, I'm actually not going to eat this one. I've got plans. I'm going to be trapping some more before season's over. So I've never ate one before. I've been hearing that they're good, so I'm going to give it a try. But I'm not going to eat this one. Yeah, foot just ripped off of him. I said, guys, it's the first groundhog I've ever done on my machine here. So far, it's not going well. Hey, Briar, welcome. Guys, I know I'm missing some guys as you chime in, but the chat keeps disappearing on my cell phone, so I'm not seeing the chat except for just a few seconds when you guys first make the post. If I miss anybody, you got a question or something, just try again. Maybe I'll catch it. That's what I'm hearing, Randall. I'm hearing they're really good to eat. As a matter of fact, I hadn't had anybody say they hadn't liked one. Everybody says they're good. To me, most of them that I've ever caught has been a problem during the summertime, and these guys stink. And I just never have. I mean, when something stinks, it's hard to think about eating it, or it is for me anyway. Tell you, their body's different than any other animal I've skinned too. Just their anatomy, like that front shoulder and stuff, almost like maybe a possum, closer to a possum than anything else. Yeah, guys, every time I look up and see the chat, by the time I can get close enough to read it, without my glasses, it disappears. Hopefully you guys are chatting each other. Seems like everybody's doing a good job. I've eaten a lot of, Briar, I've seen you said something about eating it. I've eaten a lot of beaver, and I really like beaver meat. You guys see a big hut that I set this morning? Or actually, well, you guys haven't seen the video because I'm just editing it now. I think I've done a little live right there beside it. But I got a few 330 set on it yesterday, and I was determined to get out there and get the rest of those holes set today with snares. And guys, that thing had ended up having, I have to go back and watch the video to be sure, but that beaver hut had 13 entrances going into it. If you would have told me a week ago that a beaver hut had 13 entrances to it, I would have thought you was lying to me. I've never seen one that big with that many entrances on it. I'm anxious to see. It was, if you guys watched the video, the video where I filmed the beaver swimming around me right at dark. That's the same place. The water's gone down now, and I had to walk back in there to it instead of using that kayak. But I ended up catching. I think the second night after I set it, I caught one little bitty beaver. One of her new kits. I think it was the second night, and then the very next night, I think I had probably one of the biggest beaver I've caught all year this year. So the smallest and biggest beaver I've caught this year come out of that colony. And then this morning, I didn't have anything in my 330s, but I put a drowning rod on a dam just up from the hut, and I picked up a 2-year-old on that beaver, on that dam crossing drowning rod this morning. I ended up getting a bunch of snares, a couple more 330s set out there today while it was raining, and I went over there first off because I thought I was going to have a bunch of catches. Of course, you always do. But ended up going over there, and first thing this morning, pouring down rain, and I walked out there, and of course, with that being flooded like it was just, I'm sinking down to my ankle every step I take out across that water where it was flooded. Got to walk, I don't know, it's probably, I'm going to say it's a good, I don't know, quarter, half mile back in there to it. And walking through that mud and then trying to make those sets, that mud and raining with me. I was drenched in muddy, horrible this morning. Yeah, I've seen, I don't know who commented on that, but there is a lot of them down here. I've got a lot of beaver huts around my area, and I've seen some big ones. I don't know if it just being completely dry the way that it was or what, but I've never seen one that big. See if I can pull this other back leg off. Yeah, Scab, I actually looked on your page today to see if you had caught anything out of there yet. Seen you hadn't posted anything up recently. Guys, on a lot of those critters, I can take this skinning machine and I can kind of pull them down quite a bit on the head. These dudes got huge jaws on them. Guys, I like to use a serrated knife just when I get down here around the head and around the skull. Seems to not dull as easy. Sure dull them other knives quick. Brian, appreciate you dropping in, man. Yeah, hopefully you can make it Saturday. I think we're going to have a pretty good turnout, maybe. And the chat disappears. Now I got bloody hands, guys. Right now, Calman, I can walk. Whenever I first started, if I'd have stood in the bottom of the ditch, just guessing, it'd probably been around 8 foot deep. Now I can actually cross. I actually crossed that ditch the day before yesterday in my hip boots. This morning when I went out there, I went ahead and threw on my waders just to help me stay dry with all the rain being out in it this morning. So it wasn't between knee and thigh deep. But the problem is that mud. If you hit the wrong spot, you're going down shin deep in mud. You're going down another foot, just sinking in the mud in the bottom of that thing. I was really hoping whenever I got back over there, I was hoping I could take that kayak and go down the ditch in that kayak, but it's really not a big drainage ditch going into it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 8-10 foot wide. It's weird doing a critter you don't do a lot of. This, once you start doing them, it's almost kind of muscle memory. You know what kind of animal you got and where the little nooks and crannies are and can fly through them, getting them skinned. Hey, Mark, appreciate you stopping in, man. Yeah, that's the way it is here in Northwoods. We don't get the ice. I don't know if you guys can even hear me over that rain. We don't get the ice like you guys get, but we had a sheet of ice covering everything, the whole ground, no matter where you walk out your back door. And you were walking ice until you went back in the house. I guess it stuck around for about a week. Finally melted off, and now That's coming down hard, guys. Can't even hear myself talking. Let's skin this beaver. Yeah, it's rained, Northwoods. We've been, I guess, about 2 weeks. We've only had one sunny day. Everything is just tore up, horrible, muddy mess. I got that beaver hut set today, and now I'm gonna get out there tomorrow. It's gonna be flooded, even muddier. Probably can't even get to everything. I can see the chat better now, guys. I'm a lot closer to the phone, and I can kind of keep up as you guys are commenting. I'll adjust the camera a little bit so you guys can see a little better. I really don't know, Judith and Dan. I'm just going to play with it and see. I've never dried one before. Try to get the chat to come back up, guys. I've never played. I was thinking a raccoon board. I've got these adjustable boards, some smaller ones I use for my foxes, and then the bigger ones for coyotes and otter. I may go with one of them adjustable boards. I'm just going to have to play with it and see what I think looks better. Yeah, it's coming down like crazy. Yeah, it'll be Northwoods. It'll be wet here until spring thaw, because this is the time of year it starts raining. Last year was actually the driest February I can remember. I was able to get a lot of beaver trapping in last year, but I'm afraid this year is going to be wet like normal. This boning knife's actually I've had this for a long time. It's my favorite knife. If I had to pick one knife to use, sorry, Cal, but it would be this one. It's a butcher's knife, ISIL, high carbon steel, man. This thing I can cut through bone, gristle, hit the joint, go straight through. And this knife is just, you can almost fillet with it. It's got a little bit of flex to it. It's just all-purpose knife. This is the one I would grab. Ty, I hope you guys don't have the rain like we had. It started this morning. Well, before I got up at 5, here it comes again. It started before 5:30 this morning. It was raining when I got up, and it hasn't quit all day long. Now, it hadn't been this hard all day, but it's been steady rain. I may end up pulling everything, just waiting. But if I pull everything, I feel like I'm not getting nothing done. If I wait on the weather, I wouldn't catch any fur, especially this time of year. So I just get out and deal with it best I can. Guys, this is super aggravating, that chat disappearing. Does anybody know how to make the chat stay up on a cell phone? Or can you? Yeah, Northwoods, we get quite a bit of freezing and thawing, but we don't drop. I don't know. I don't think it's the same kind of freezing and thawing that you guys have. All right, I'm never going to get this beaver done. I'm going to keep moving on here, guys. I'll try to keep up with the chat. Yeah, I'll try. You guys that don't trap, this right here is some of the best coyote canine bait you can find. I actually, I threw one out here behind the house the other night. I think I carried my scrap bucket off that first day. When I got home, I skinned a beaver. Most of the time on these beaver, I put the meat up, vacuum seal the meat and stuff, so I don't have just the guts and the feet's all I got. So I just walked them back here behind the house out here in my woods. I threw them out in the woods to keep me from driving off somewhere. And about 2 days later, we let the dog out of the house. We let the dog out of the house to do his thing outside. And he just runs around outside until he gets ready to come back in, come up on the porch. My wife opened the door for him, and I noticed he had something in his mouth. So I chased him down to see what it was, and he had one of them beaver feet in his mouth, carrying it in the house. I tried to hide it from the wife, but she caught it before I could get the foot out of there. Needless to say, she wasn't too happy. But one reason I think, guys, is because of this toenail on the back foot. I know if you guys beaver trap, you'll know this. Beaver's the only animal I know of that's got basically on this toe right here, they've got a double toenail. See if I can get it in the camera. Basically creates a little cuff in there. Both of them's hollowed out, just kind of a little channel underneath the nail. And what they'll do, that's what they stick back to their vent hole and fill it with the castor oil, and then they'll rub it over their hair. That keeps them waterproof. You know, like a duck. Everybody knows a duck does that. Keep their wings waterproof, but a beaver will do that at the back toenail. I think that's a big reason. I think that oil smell in that toenail is a big reason why those dogs can't resist it. But to finish my story, guys, that wasn't the end of it. It's probably at least 4 or 5 days later, I walk into my daughter's room, and she's always got stuff in the floor. You know, you gotta pay attention to, or you'll hurt yourself walking in the room. But anyway, walking through her room, I look down, and what's laying right there up against the wall? Give you guys a guess. Beaver foot. That time I got it out of the house without nobody knowing. But I try not to do that here around the house, just simply because of that reason. And the same thing, back a few years ago, I had one of my guys. I'm not keeping up with the chat because it's always gone. But a few years ago, I threw some carcasses. I had a carcass pile back here behind the house, and ended up causing a pretty big ruckus with one of my neighbors. And actually hadn't talked to that neighbor since, spoken to him. So just to keep the problems down, I try not to keep piles here on my property. Most of my other neighbors, they wouldn't care. They understand that their dog's out roaming my property, and drag something from my property back to theirs, that it's their issue for letting their dog run wild. But this neighbor didn't seem to understand that. And but anyway, it got so bad we're not on speaking terms. Awesome, Trapper Tim. This is actually the first groundhog I've ever put up. I've killed a bunch of them. A lot of people are chiming in saying to eat that thing, skin them out, eat them. Everybody's saying, some are saying they like it better than beaver meat. I'm sure there's still some guys in the chat that can tell you about it, but give it a try. Might just caught your next favorite meal. Yeah, that's the way it is, Ken. It's the groundhog. That's why I've never been able to eat them, especially whenever kill them in the summertime. Man, I can't get past that smell. And actually, this one, actually wasn't too bad, but I caught a whiff of it several times. I guess it's their glands or their piss. I don't really know what it is that stinks. I'm sure certain times of the year they stink even worse, but that's the reason I haven't ate one before now, just because of that smell. Yeah, several people said to use it for bait. Guys, again, sorry if you're just joining the chat. The chat keeps disappearing on me, and I'm not catching everybody's comments. I have to touch my phone every time to get the chat to come up. Randall fur's not worth much. If it weren't for these beavers, I don't know how much trapping I'd be doing. There's such a nuisance around my area that almost every beaver that I catch, I'm getting paid a bounty for catching them. And then I've got a little bit of a meat market, not much. I can sell the carcasses. And then, of course, we don't have a tail bounty where I'm at. So the county or state doesn't offer a tail bounty on them. But I work for the Soil Conservation District, and they'll direct me to problem areas that they have. And then a few of the cities, municipalities around my area, they've got me on payroll to keep the beaver population down. So the fur's not worth much, but if you get creative, you can find avenues to make it worth your while for sure. So by the time I get paid to catch it, and then actually Beaver market's going to be probably one of the best markets this year. It's kind of crazy to say because it's been steady all these years. You know, the beaver's been the one steady market, and a lot of times it's been some of the lowest priced fur. But the fur industry, the way it is, it's put beaver on top. And of course, the castor you can sell, the skulls you could sell. Find somebody in your area that's got the beetles that clean the skulls, and you can probably work out a deal with them to offload your skulls. I've noticed a lot of people in the trapping groups. There's been several guys get on there and say that they are buying skulls. You try to find one of them posts if you're interested. Now, there's ways to make money, not just fur. Uh, Now I've never really treated it like a business and sit down and actually put pen to paper, figured out my gas and my time and all that. If I did, I'm sure I'd be highly disappointed. It probably still ain't worth my time as far as trying to run it like a business. Uh, I would have to take it more serious. I think it. Now saying that, I really think I could. I think I could open up a nuisance control business in my area and have a good business. But then you're getting into have to. It takes the fun out of it. It's not. It goes from being fun to have to do. And anytime I've ever done that, guys, I've ended up hating whatever activity it was, and I've tried it several times. So that's something I'm really leery of anymore, is taking something that I absolutely love to do and running it by making it a have to do. Yeah, Judith and Dan, I've not really had a lot of problems with Annie's up until just recently. I've really not been Annie's. It's just been spam type stuff. I put it off as I was thinking it might be because I finally reached that 1,000 subscriber threshold, and I wondered if maybe that was the reason. Uh, this little old 2-year-old ain't got much of a caster at all, guys. I feel like I'm missing a whole lot of the chat. It's hard for me to do this and not see what you guys are saying. Sweet Scab. I tell you, it's a lot of work cleaning them skulls. Hey, Candace, send me a message on one of my videos or a private message and tell me who you are. I got a suspicion you're one of the tribe members. But like I was talking about earlier, man, it's so hard to keep track with who everybody is on the different platforms. Everybody's got a different name. Uh, I was saying earlier, I don't know if you guys were in here or not. You could be my neighbor next door, and I know you personally, but if you're on this chat with a different name, I have no clue who you are, except for by that name. Yeah, it may be something to it, Tom. Maybe the Chinese after us. Everything going on, those Chinese have upped their game. Ah, damn chat disappeared again. Yeah, Judith and Dan, I always figured that'd be fun. I never got that far doing any of them, but I never thought that'd be fun. Guys, I'm fixing to get this castor oil all over my hands trying to watch chat and pull them out of here. Yeah, do that, Candace. Tag me in it so I'll know. I've been trying to get away from reading all the comments unless I'm tagged in it. Here's another thing, guys. Find you a market for these oil glands. There's markets for them too. Or if you're just trapping beaver every once in a while, you're a big canine trapper. Take that thing right there and cut it up in 2 or 3 little chunks and throw it down a dirt hole, and I almost guarantee you, if there's a coyote in the area, you'll get it caught. Or fox or any kind of predator. Everything's attracted to beaver, guys. Every part of the beaver. I figure if another wild animal eats meat, and beaver would be his first choice, from what I can gather. I'm probably shooting myself in the foot with this beaver, guys. I'm having a get together here Saturday And I think some of the guys had asked about doing a fur put up demonstration. So I was gonna save me a beaver and skin it, flesh it, board it, put it up, and this was gonna be the beaver. The beaver I was gonna use. I was gonna throw it in the freezer hole until then to make sure that I had one. But I done got cocky with that new hut that I set this morning, and determined I'm gonna catch some more beaver out of there. So so we'll see. Again, guys, I'll just use my skinning knife up until I get to the skull. Then I like switching back to that serrated blade. Just go around the skull and the head. Somebody just joined. I seen what's up, everybody, but the chat disappeared before I could see who it was. So hello, whoever just joined in. Frank, hello. I just got a few critters to put up. I thought I'd open the platform up. I know I like to just get on chat with other people that are on the platform. Hopefully you guys are doing a lot of that. I'm not able to see the chat, Frank. It keeps disappearing on my phone. But a lot of good guys in the chat if you haven't met them before. A lot of the guys that are in this chat have got their own YouTube channels too. Judith and Dan, Scab, Mark J. Lawson was on here earlier. Guys, one of you guys as moderators, if you want to post some links, I don't have a problem at all with it. Me too, Scab. I seem tired, sore, and wore out this morning. Probably wore me out more than I've been wore out in a long time. And I was soaking wet. It took me, 3.5 hours to run my line this morning. I started off very first spot. I got soaking wet, muddy, plumb wore out walking in that mud. 3.5 hours later, I get home, and as I drive past the cattle pasture, I look out there and they're out of hay. So, of course, it's pouring down rain, and there wasn't no relief in sight. Cows needed hay, so I figured before I went in and changed clothes, I'd go ahead and hop on a tractor and run them some hay up there. So, there we go. Got that one still. Chat disappeared. Guys, I'm gonna have to. I've done this once with my computer. Next time I have to bring my computer out to try to get it set up. I think the chat will stay up. Oh, Northwoods, you appreciate it. No problem, man. You're welcome. I know when I first started off, a bunch of the guys give me shout outs and supported me. I try to support everybody that gets on my channel, leave comments and supports me. My problem is I just don't have enough time to sit down and watch a lot of other videos. But try to get better with that, shouting people out. But you're more than welcome, man. Oh, it's been horrible here all day. It's rained before I got up at 5:30 this morning, Frank, and it's been raining all day here. There you go, Scab's posting some videos of everybody. Guys, I'll give Mark J. Larson a shout out. He's the very first one when I started out. And I'm still learning this YouTube stuff, guys. I'm horrible. I don't know. I'm horrible with technology. Dale Billingsley said the other day, and it rang true with me, is I'm a low-tech guy in a high-tech world. And that's the truth. I don't understand how any of this stuff works. It's been good for me to get on here and do it and learn all this stuff that I don't know how to do, but I'm still horrible at getting anything done. Frank, that's kind of the way I when I first started, I didn't know any other way to do it except for just to film my whole line all day long, and so that's what I started out doing. But man, I didn't have a clue how much time and energy that it took to do that stuff until I started doing them, and yeah, so I've gained a whole bunch of respect from the YouTube community. These guys that put videos up. Before I started doing them, I didn't have a clue how much time and effort went into doing it. It's awkward having to work around the camera trying to get you guys get the right angle so y'all can see what I'm doing too. Now my hands are all bloody trying to get the chat to come up. It's really a pain. Oh, I do too. I like watching all the videos of the guys in the different areas. I mean, all most of us are ever going to do is dream about going somewhere else, trapping in a different part of the country. And I always, that's why I like watching a lot of YouTube channels. Guys, when you're getting a liver out of, you guys that do it are going to know, but when you get these livers out of these animals, you got this bile sac right here on the bottom of the liver. Hopefully you guys can see that right here. And actually, just looking at this liver, guys, looks like I may already nick that thing. I'm going to pull the camera down here close, show you guys. That's that bile sac, guys. And it looks like I may have already nicked it because there's some discoloring on this liver. If I ever see that discoloring or if I see spots on the liver, I'm not going to harvest that liver to eat. This actually looks like a really good liver. It's a young beaver, so there shouldn't be any problems with it. But some of that vile's leaked out onto the liver, so I'm not going to harvest it. You want to be really careful getting that off there. And all you got to do, guys, it's a pretty strong sac. You can pull it up. I'll show you. Let me stand the camera back up and I'll show you how to get that off there, even though we're not going to harvest this liver. Hang on. All right, guys. So just reach in here with one hand, pull that back. You're going to see all that membrane and stuff that's holding it to the liver. There's not a whole lot of it there. All you don't do just real, like I said, it's pretty tough. You don't have to really worry about breaking it. You wouldn't want to just squeeze on it, but just pull it away from the liver. And I always like to cut into that liver just get behind it just to make sure that I'm not gonna bust it. And once you get down here to this membrane, guys, you just cut it off, and you got that bile sack out of there, bile, and don't have to worry about it. Like I said, if I was gonna harvest that liver, I'd just come in here behind it, cut that liver out. That's simple, but we're not gonna do that. I'll just stuck it back in. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna throw this out the back door and show you guys what I do with those quarters I cut off there. Sorry, guys. I think I hit the wrong button. Oh, I forgot the back strap, Judith and Dan. I done threw it out now. I'm not going back and getting it. I left the best part of the Beaver because you guys had me distracted. Oh, well. I guess I'll keep this one for myself. Won't market it. I'm horrible with mink. I don't know. I don't think there's many mink around me. I don't catch any accidentals ever. And I usually target a bunch of muskrats whenever I find a colony. And I've never accidentally caught a mink. Everybody I talk to in my area says they're around. I just don't know what I'm doing, I guess. But I've tried and tried and tried. And I just never had any success catching minks. It looks like prime area where I'm at. I mean, all these drainage ditches and grass and like the minks. I've seen them before. I've seen a few when I'm out trapping, running the side of the ditch. But I've just not had much luck at all. Yeah, and that's why I was wondering if maybe will otters eat mink? Because that's one of the thoughts I had. I have so many otters. Will the otter eat mink? Would that be a reason why I don't have as many mink in my area? Yeah, Ermine and Martin, something I don't know ever been here in Arkansas. That would be cool to catch those. And, oh, that's what's neat. You northern guys got a lot of different stuff than we got, and y'all are envious of us, all the stuff we got. I just got some vacuum sealer bags, guys. As small as this Beaver is, I forgot to do the back straps. I'm just going to put both helms in one bag and both shoulders in one bag. I just try to pull that outside silver skin off, all that loose skin, guys. Just try to clean it up while I got it here before I freeze it. I mean, if you wanted to, you could vacuum seal it, freeze it, and do this before you cook it. But a lot of this meat and stuff, well, not a lot of it, but some of it I'll sell. So just kind of want to clean it up, make it look pretty. All right, guys, so there's both hands in one bag. Can't believe I threw that loin out. Calman, you just, any way you cook like a beef roast, man, this rain is crazy. I hope y'all can hear me. Any way that you cook a beef roast, like in a crock pot, slow cook, some of you guys chime in telling some of your Beaver recipes. I like to grind it up into a hamburger meat and add some beef fat or some pork fat to it. I don't know, about 80-20, 70-30, something like that. And I like eating it hamburgers, some of the best burgers you can eat. Yeah, Northwoods. I think otter regulations and a lot from just talking from other people in other states, it seems like a lot of the otter restrictions are kind of pretty strict, but not necessarily they need to be. We don't have any restrictions here. You can catch as many as you want this season. They're really a big nuisance. We got quite a few catfish farms in my area, and those otters are horrible on the fish farms. I've heard it said, and I haven't seen the studies to know how factful it is, but I've heard it said that an otter can eat half of his body weight a day in fish. And that being the case, it don't take them long to destroy a population. All right, guys, I'm going to show you guys this vacuum seal machine that I got. Excuse my mess over here. Turn this thing around here and show you how this thing works. It's pretty awesome. All right, Candace, appreciate you dropping in, man. I'll get on the other chat here a little bit and see who the mystery man is. Yeah, Northwoods, the city tags is really not a big pain here. Well, if you had to drive an hour and a half, that would be a big pain. I'm not that far from the Game and Fish office. But I can just call the game warden, get with your local game wardens if you don't know them. I can just give mine a call on the cell phone, tell him how many otters I got, how many bobcats I got, and he'll grab them when he's at the office and bring them to the house or meet me somewhere and pick them up from me. That might be an option for you if you're not familiar with your local game wardens. I got my grease and my little Coleman stove out here. I had me some beaver meat the other day while I was out here skinning. Ah, Judith and Dan, I know who it is now then. No mystery. Well, I got a 50-50 shot. And I think I might know. Oh, Scab, I wish we could do that, man. We've got to show the pelts and get the exact number that we need. Man, if I could get extra, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I know nothing about wolves except for, well, no, except for the ones I've seen at Yellowstone. But I think we've seen every kind of animal when we drove through except for a wolf. We've seen coyotes and, of course, buffalo and elk, and uh, caught a glimpse of a moose out in the field. And that was neat. You guys ain't ever been to Yellowstone. That's probably one of my favorite trips, one of my favorite places I've been, maybe besides Ireland. Ireland's pretty cool. Oh, that stinks, Frank. Otters are fun to catch. And everybody says they're difficult to put up, but I mean, it's just because most people don't get to catch them all the time. They don't get to put up enough to get comfortable with them, but they're really not that difficult to put up. It's just getting comfortable doing it. All right, guys, that's what we end up with when it's done. The vacuum sealed hams there, and the vacuum sealed shoulders. And unless the seal breaks, guys, these bags hold up for a long time. Let's find my marker. Guys, I just come up here and write. Let's see, it's February, so I'll put a Beaver. This is the shoulders. And then I'll just put a 2 of 23. That tells me I put it up February 2023. I'm gonna write home on this one so I know that I keep it here instead of selling any of it. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna sit here for a minute, try to kind of scroll through the chat a little bit, see if maybe I missed anything important. Any of you guys have any questions? I'm probably gonna get off here pretty quick. I'm gonna get all this stuff cleaned up. I think I'm just gonna go. I was gonna put that Beaver up tonight, but I think I'll go ahead, throw the pelt in the freezer. That way, if I don't catch any before our get together, I'll have one that I can flesh and put on a hoop to show. Guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in, sticking around. Man, I really enjoy these chats, these chapping groups, the community get together, talk about stuff. Nothing else, talk with each other in them. Sorry, between the rain and my tech abilities not being able to keep this chat up, hopefully it wasn't too boring. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get all this stuff cleaned up, and I may go ahead and see about scraping that groundhog, get him put on the board and drying. The FFA director is going to come Saturday, and I'm gonna donate that groundhog hide to his classroom. He said that's one animal he doesn't have, so I'm gonna donate it to the FFA. Guys, that rain's picking up again. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Trapper Tom, you're welcome, man. Hey, there's a lot of these guys on here, Trapper Tom, do these chats like this. Check out Iowa Trapper. He's got one. I know Scab will do them every once in a while. Dale Billingsley, he's been doing some. Trapper J, he does them. If you guys know of any more guys do these live chats, shout them out real quick, and I'll hang tight. Let Trapper Tom know. They're really interesting. They're fun to get on and enjoy. Oh, there's a wolf trapper up in Idaho. What is his channel's name? I can't think of it, but I like his channel too. If I think of it here in a little bit when I get on the computer, I'll get back here on the chat and make a comment with his channel. Let you know, but I like watching him. He does quite a few of them. All right. right, guys. We'll catch everybody later. Tight chains.